Well, hello, friends, and welcome back. How are you doing? Welcome to my hobby home. My name is Kathy. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am doing a little catch-up sewing today. I have my trip around the block squares or rows here. What I am going to be doing is assembling my rows so I can attach them to this quilt that's hanging up behind me. Now I have them pressed out where this is the bottommost row, and I am taking the row right above it, flipping it down. I just got it all pressed out, so hopefully things will go smooth on the assembly. So how are y'all doing? It's Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday when I am recording this. So I hope you all are doing well. You will see this on Thursday. I am back to my recording the day before. I don't really like that. It puts me up too late, but I did not get ahead in my recordings this past weekend, and that is one of the reasons why you did not have a video on Tuesday. But I put one of my favorite, I put my favorite bag out there. I have several bag patterns that I have not tried, but so far that's my favorite one that I've made, other than the little Nantucket Summer. But I'm talking about like a tote bag. I have a tote bag that I want to do so bad, and I just haven't made time for it. I need to. I know, guys, I know. But today I do want to kind of fill y'all in on some things. I had somebody wishing me well, hoping I was doing well. Yeah, I am fine. It's just Monday evening, my daughter comes over, and I play with a grandbaby. Well, of course, that little sugar bear, he walked in my house and rounded the corner, and I might have told y'all this on yesterday's video, but he was like, Gigi, knack knack. That means he wants a snack. Well, my husband had finished eating off the Star Crunches. He loves them Star Crunches. They're kind of a chocolate coated Rice Krispie caramel cookie cake kind of thing. I don't know if they're Little Debbie's. I don't know what they are. Not Little Debbie's. I don't know what they are. But he loves those things. Well, my husband had eaten all of them, and he replaced it with some peanut butter cookie things. My grandbaby don't like that. And when I pulled that knack knack out of the pantry, he looked at me and he was like, he looked at me in shock, like, what do you think you're handing me, woman? But I was like, come on, baby, I bet it's good. I said, let's try it. So I said, let's go get your chair. Let's try it. And he took a bite and he was like, hey. And I know my husband bought them for himself, which he can't have that now, which he probably will. He won't listen to the doctor. Both my husband and I ended up in the doctor today. I've been, if y'all have been here for any length of time, you know I'm a diabetic. I'm not really a big sweet eater, but I do like juice, and I do like fruits, and those are horrible for a diabetic. And I really have not been monitoring my sugar the way I should have been. Well, I started thinking, I'm really, really tired. And I was talking to my sister about it, and she's like, that's your sugar. That is your sugar doing that. So I was like, okay, well, let me start monitoring it the way I should. It's been almost 300. And so I called my doctor today because I was like, okay, one day may be okay because my sister and I did not eat the best over the weekend. We did a little road trip and so did not eat the best. And so I was like, well, maybe that's all it is. Well, so I've been monitoring it since Sunday, I'm thinking. And it's been near 300 the whole time. It's not gone below 200 this whole time. And so I went to the doctor and I'm like, can I take a second sugar pill to try to help? I'm thinking what might have happened, my sugar medicine might have quit working. And she's like, come in. I don't want you to do that. Because I told her how many milligrams I'm currently taking. So she started looking. I got to make sure I put my dual control foot down because I did a machine cleaning and oiling. And I do that frequently. But I did a good cleaning on it the other day. I don't normally do as thorough a cleaning as I did yesterday evening. But, so I've been monitoring it, and today, an hour after lunch, after I'd eaten lunch, I got a little impatient. I normally don't test it until 2 hours after lunch. But an hour after lunch, it was 257. 2 hours after lunch, it was 270. And I was like, I need to go see her. But after I saw that 257 is when I called. And I go where my daughter works. And I was just telling her, and she's like, well, we need to do this. We need to pull all this blood work. Which I'd been kind of surprised they hadn't pulled blood work on me in a while. And I had left the doctor's office that I was going to because every time I walked in there, they pulled blood work. And my insurance, for some reason, did not cover it there. Well, because it wasn't going to a particular lab that they used. And so I was like, well, and you know, they understood. I'm like, I can't keep paying $300 every 3 months for blood work. And then I was going in once a month for diabetic foot care. Just to make sure, you know, there's no problems with my feet or anything. Because, you know, as a diabetic, you don't want anything happening. But anyway, I went today. And she was telling me, you know, I'm like, because used to, you know, I was told they could send my lab work where it needed to go. Well, now they give you an order to go get your lab work done at the lab. And I'm like, I'm not going to another town. So I told my doctor that I've been seeing. Yes, I go to a geriatric doctor, and a lot of people are like, you don't need to go to a geriatric doctor. I'm 53 years old. I do need to go to a geriatric doctor. But I had told her I would contact my insurance company to see if they knew anybody in the area that did in-house blood work or would send it to LabCorp, and it costs the same. And LabCorp is the lab that my insurance company requires to do the blood work. And I know my dad had told me that they give him orders to go do it as well, to do his blood work as well. Well, I didn't even think about it. But, you know, being that I had surgery this year and I had to pay over $1,000 for that surgery out of pocket, I've already met my deductible. So, everything is 100% now. And when I called my insurance carrier, they told me that. They're like, well, it doesn't matter because it would be covered in it would be covered like it was in network because you've met your deductible. And I'm like, I completely did not remember that. I don't think about things like that, but okay, so let's see. Did I just put these together wrong? Let's see what we got here. No, it looks like it, but I'm thinking I didn't because I'm making sure that color goes. Yes, that's right. Okay, whew. I have to make sure to keep adding to the top, guys. I'm just trying to be in my sewing room today, and I'm like, I don't have anything in particular I needed to sew today, but I did know I needed to get this caught up and get these rows put on and assembled to the quilt top. So that is what we are doing. And I'm hoping tomorrow that I will have everything in so I can, when I record tomorrow for Friday's video, that what I will be doing is stuffing some of those bags of love, guys. I'm hoping everything will be in. Everything's not in yet that I had ordered. I thought everything was in this one box, but it wasn't. And I haven't opened it, but I did look to see what came today. I thought it would come in Amazon boxes because I ordered it all from Amazon. And a lot of times when you order things like that from Amazon, they'll all come in the same box. Well, they didn't, because I checked my order and it said like 3 of the 5 things that I ordered was delivered. So, and the other 2 are supposed to be delivered tomorrow or the day y'all are watching this. So y'all will be seeing this on Thursday. The weekend is coming up. Anything special going on in your area? Anything coming up? What is it? Oh, info. I tried to book the Paducah quilt retreat in October. Sold out. Already sold out. So I'm looking at another date. I've called and give her my name, and I left her a message. She didn't answer. And left her my name and my number, and I told her that I found another date that I'd be interested in, but it's early in the year. I don't want to go to Kentucky in the middle of the summer. The last time I went to Kentucky in March is when I'm looking at booking. We actually had snow, or it was March or April, but we actually had snow. I was so excited. I wish I was going the other direction and I'd stop and see my grandbaby, but I'm not headed that direction. They live in Arkansas, so I won't be going through Arkansas to go to Paducah. I mean, I could, but I won't, because, the hours that would add to my drive. But for those, I squirreled there, but for those that were worried that I might have been sick or something, I was not sick. My daughter came, I played with my grandbaby, and I just didn't get anything recorded for y'all. And I just spent the day playing with my grandbaby, or the evening playing with my grandbaby. And then, of course, when he leaves, I'm so exhausted. I didn't have the energy to even walk in my sewing room. But he is such a pleasure to have over. I cannot wait for my granddaughter to be here and get to spend the weekend with me. We're going to do all the things. We're going to go shopping. She likes to shop. If I remember correctly, her mother told me she likes to shop. That's okay. I do too. We may We may go to Once Upon a Child and get some consignment dresses, if y'all have a Once Upon a Child, you know what I'm talking about. It's like consignment clothes for children, but most of the time I've gotten a lot of clothes there that still have tags on them. Oh yeah, I gotta make myself sit up straight. It's causing my back to hurt today. But I am just ready to have some time with my little girl. Oh, I miss her so much. I don't know how people do it with grandbabies across the country. I just really don't. My heart would be hurting so bad. And if you have grandbabies across the country, my heart goes out to you, because mine is only 4.5 hours away, and I can't stand it. Because I'm missing all the growing up and all the snuggle times, and she really doesn't know who I am. Even though I see her as often as I possibly can, she doesn't know who I am. But once again, those that thought I was sick or something, I wasn't sick. And I tell you that about my diabetes, just so you know, it is a struggle. If you're a newly diagnosed diabetic or not, it is so hard. I am having such a rough time, because I was diagnosed after the big C. And I don't know if that's what caused it. But, I mean, I've done, medications. I've done the shots. And those did not work at all for me. Well, it worked in the fact that it brought my blood sugar down. But I could not do them. They made me really, really ill. I wish they could have helped, but, I wish I could have continued to take them, but those shots just really were not good for me. Now, I do know a lot of people that have taken the shots, that it works really well with them. And I am happy for those that it works really well for. Because, diabetes is a struggle. I'm not going to pretend to know everything about it. I'm not going to pretend that I'm good at it, because I'm not. For lunch yesterday, my husband and he's like, "What do you want to eat?" And I was just craving pizza. If you are from the South or know anyone from the South, you will know what Johnny's Pizza is. I was craving Johnny's Pizza. And I told my husband they have a buffet. And I'm pretty mild when I go to a pizza buffet anyway. I don't allow myself more than 3 pieces. But they actually had the peach pudding pie out there. I had to get a piece of it. So, I'm sure that didn't help any. But like I said, I'm not normally a sweet eater. So, I think every now and then a sweet here and there won't hurt. But it does hurt when your meal, you have a soda as well with it. And I had a Coke as well. Because how do you eat pizza without Coke? I just can't do it. So I've got to find an alternative to doing that. And I don't like Diet Coke, so I just did all out bad yesterday for lunch. I had pizza, I had sweet, I had soda. That's bad. That's really bad. Okay, so now I'm going to lay this up again. Looks like my squares are going in the diagonal. I don't know if it's the way they should, but they're going in a diagonal. I just have to pull it off the table so I can get it turned right and pin it. I guess this is my catch-up day. I'm catching up, so when we come back together for our Saturday sew-along, I will have everything caught up to what I'm working on that day. And I think we only have like 3 rows left, maybe? That may be all we have left, 3 or 4. 3 or 4 rows left. But whatever it is, we will be able to get done Saturday with that. And I will try to put together what I get sewn that day, because I would like to take this to the long armor this weekend. I really would. But Miss Ava did tell me that I have 2 quilts that I was having bound. She said those should be ready by Friday, but if not, it's not a big deal. I'm okay with that. But if I finish this quilt, I could be making it over there. And Friday, I'm going to be over that way in the morning anyway, because now that I've been having this issue with my blood sugar, I did go to a doctor today, but they were wanting to just give me an order and me go to another place on Friday, and whenever I had a chance and get my blood work done. But I'm just going to go to the doctor's office that I used to go to, because they can send my blood work in to the lab that it needs to go to. I just have to remind them everything has to go to that. Otherwise, my insurance won't pay it. But, like I said, everything, my copay is done. So everything should be at 100% now. So I think what I'm going to do is have them run all the blood, everything, all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the hormones, all the thyroid, parathyroid, liver, kidney, everything. Just everything. Why not, my deductible is paid. I might as well take advantage of that. Have some kind of perk out of paying that much money for my surgery. And I know a lot of people that have to pay more than that, and I understand that. But this insurance I now have, it used to be the best insurance in the state. And literally you had your copay and nothing else. But now, it's not that. You have your copay, you have your x-ray read, you have your blood work, you have radiologists. I mean, anytime you go anywhere, like if you go to the hospital, you get a bill from the hospital, and then you get a bill from the doctors separately. And to me, that's just crazy. But what it is, like hospitals and all, have outsourced that. Well, our hospital has. That is, the doctors are actually contracted out of Texas. So they're not actually employed by the hospital. They're employed by this company, contract company, and they work for the hospital under the contract. And that company pays the doctors. So it's a little crazy how it's done now. I can see a lot of people's points on social medicine, but that is definitely not the answer. We currently have a system in place that I feel like helps the needy, helps the poor and the elderly. And, people like myself with jobs, we can afford private insurance. Well, hopefully you can. Oh, I got my needle doing something crazy down here. Let's raise it up, lay it down, and see if we can get it to go on. I don't know what happened there. But that happens every now and then. It gets like a little bundle of thread under there in the way, and I think it catches it. I think it's caught it. What is going on here? Okay, guys, I'm going to have to see what's going on here. Oh my goodness, that rippled that up crazy. Okay, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to trim these threads up, and we're going to go back over this back here to make sure whatever happened, whatever it was, I don't see it, but it caused that thread to do something a little crazy. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back just a little bit and just kind of reinforce that same, just in case there was a break in that thread there somewhere. Because it does look to me like there was maybe a break in that thread back there. Okay, we got that fixed. But let's see. I had a surprise last night. I all the time, and I'm sure everybody else does too, I get a lot of scam calls or spammer calls or whatever they are. Just calls that I don't want. Well, I had a call from a number I didn't recognize yesterday. I missed the call. And then I had another one yesterday evening. So I had two calls. One while I was at work and I missed the call. And then one yesterday evening and I missed it because I was recording. I didn't even realize I missed it. And so I thought, well, the name seemed a little familiar on it. So I called it back. I was wondering if it was my daughter's friend that I make t-shirts for her little baby's birthday parties. But last year I had told her I wasn't doing that anymore just because it was just so much trouble. I no longer do a lot of vinyl. And so the vinyl I had is no good after a little while. It just doesn't do what it's supposed to. So I thought it might have been her. And I called and I'm like, yeah, I've gotten a call from this number twice. She's like, Miss Kathy. She's like, I was trying to call my mom and accidentally called you. I was like, oh, okay. She says, I have you as Olivia's mom in my phone, which that's my youngest daughter's name. So I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, who is this? Because my daughter has a bunch of friends from school that have me in their phone as Olivia's mom. And she told me her name. And this sweet little girl I have not talked to in a long time. She's like, how are you doing? And I'm like, well, girl, I'm just getting old. my bones are getting old and I'm getting slow. Oh, no, you're not old. And this is the sweetest little girl. She got upset at me because at Christmas time, I had made tamales and did not invite her over. And I told her, I was like, Sine, if I make tamales again, I will invite you over. So we did. We made tamales and I invited her. Now, she's a sweetheart. My daughter has some really good friends from high school. And I know my daughter doesn't, she talks to her, if they run into each other, they're still friendly. But they're not like, well, they weren't in high school because I didn't allow my children to go stay overnight with just anybody. Because no, I know things can happen. So, but for my daughter's birthday, her birthday is after Christmas. So, I was like, well, on Christmas break, she can have her friends. Some friends come and stay over. And it was a lot of her friends off dance line. And And this little girl, poor thing, she was sitting on my couch. I didn't know she was allergic to cats. She's got her big old hair bonnet on, and my cat's playing with her hair bonnet. Poor thing is sneezing, her eyes are watering, and I'm like, "Are you allergic to cats?" She's like, "Yes, ma'am." I'm like, "Why did you not tell me?" So I went and got some Benadryl for her. I'm like, "Sinead, you're going to have to let me know things like this." I said, "I can't have you sick." So when she walked in my house to make tamales, I was like, "Girl, take that Benadryl." Because, I got cats in my house. And that's just a sweet little old girl. But every time I see her or anything, she is just the sweetest little old thing. I told her I said, "If your mama don't want you, tell her I want you." And she's a beautiful girl. I think she went to Dallas and did some modeling. I'm not real sure. I kind of heard that. But you hear a lot of things. She is so beautiful. Guys, we're getting down to our next to last row on this. I will press it after we get off here. This is just doing some assembly here. This is our assembling. We're catching it up. I'm trying to think if I have some other things that I can catch up with on tonight. But, oh Lord, no, it's after 9 o'clock. Well, I came home and took a nap, so I was tired. But once again, I think that's probably my sugar because I was so wiped out that I sit down and I just fall asleep. It doesn't matter. But y'all, I have been thinking about my garden. I don't know why when it gets like this, I start thinking about my garden, and I don't know that I could plant anything right now. But I do need to. I've not yet got my beds to sleep yet, and I haven't put them to bed I haven't put my garden to bed for the winter yet. But I'm still thinking I may want a winter garden. Some greens in there, but I have thought about planting some pumpkins next year. But I know that'll take up a lot of garden space and with very low, but I can decorate with it. I can decorate with pumpkins, but I will definitely be planting okra again next year. I don't know what that has to do with diabetes. I really don't. I don't know how it is with diabetes, but I want some okra. I am out of my okra that I grew. I love some good fresh okra, fried up. I do like a little pan fry. I put a little lard in my pan and do okra with potatoes and onions. And it's always really good. That makes me kind of want some right now too. To me, that's just an easy dinner. Come in, just throw it in the skillet. And I have a cast iron skillet I can do that in. And it's best to do that in a cast iron. It gets good and crispy. But anyway, we're going to be experimenting, or I am going to be experimenting with some diabetic recipes. If you're diabetic and you have a favorite place that has some good recipes to try out, because guys, I'm from Louisiana, our food has to have taste. And I don't know why. I guess this box behind my sewing machine is why this is wanting to veer over. But if you have a site that you like to go to for diabetic cooking, or I have one YouTuber that I really like watching. She shows what she eats in a week for a carnivore diet. In carnivore, you have no sugar. So now she does cook things with like dark chocolate, and diabetic can't. I don't care. People say, oh, well, diabetics can have that. No, I can't have any sugar at all. I have to like try to get my sugar as close to 0 as possible. And tonight, you know, we definitely have to be doing this. And I say we as in my husband as well. Because this evening I just told him, I'm like, I'm checking your blood sugar. His was over 300 and he hadn't eaten since lunchtime. And it was 7 o'clock. And lunchtime we got up at 11 from the table at 11:20. Because when he's in, we meet for lunch. And his was over 300. I think it was like 321. So yeah, but he swears he's not a diabetic. I'm like, yeah, you are. But his doctor wanted him to get blood work done as well. Or that's what he told me this. So my husband told me that he wanted him to do that, but he wanted it fasting. Now, I will have a fasting blood glucose on Friday. So, I'm hoping that if we can get this started before the end of the year, we can get everything straightened out before the new year. So, but enough of that. I was telling y'all about the Paducah Quilt Retreat. They're sold out both dates in October. And they have several that's already sold out. And Norma, the lady that I think it was Norma. Is it Norma? I think it is. The lady you're supposed to call for the retreat. That's what she told me, that it has filled up so fast that the lady that updates the website has not been able to keep up with it. So that is probably the issue there. But I'm going to try calling her again tomorrow morning and seeing if I can't get me a spot reserved, because I told her I will want a private room, because I won't want to disturb anyone else, and I sleep crazy. Like on the weekends, I may not go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning, and I know if I'm there, I may have a day that I sleep all day. But I'm hoping I have a quilting friend that will join me there. And my husband may also go with me, because that is a good drive. But I'm also thinking if I drive, I may want, because the one I'm looking at, I want to do one that's during the week. Because going to like the fabric shops and things like that, it shouldn't be as many people there during the week as it is on the weekend. And I'm looking at going early in the year now. I was looking at going late in the year, just, you know, for off time's sake, because I build my time off. And I figured, you know, at the end of next year, I'd have a lot of time built up. Right now, I have 2 weeks built up. And at the holidays, I will take off the week of Thanksgiving, which will only be 2 days. And I don't know, I may not be able to take that one, because I think that's payroll week. But if that's the case, I'll take the 2 weeks at Christmas and New Year's, which will only be 4 days. because we already get like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then we get New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and I only work a 4-day work week. So, but it's really according to when my children decide they want to do Christmas and Thanksgiving, because I told them just whatever weekend. I would love it if they would just come and stay the weekend, come stay at the house. We can do all the festivity things. We can make cookies for the babies, and we can make candy for the adults. Just sit around and watch Christmas movies and have hot chocolate, burn a fire in the fireplace. Nothing more memorable than that. I love doing that. But that will mean I have to get through stuff and get my guest room back to being a guest room. Why is that? For some reason, my bottom fabric is pulling under. But I am definitely ready for the cool weather. I'm ready to go to Kentucky in March. The last time I was telling y'all, when we went, my son was there was snow in April. So I'm hoping there is snow in March next year. That's when I'm looking to go. I'm hoping to go. It may not be available, and I may have to choose another date. But I think if the March date is full, I may not continue to look. I may just go on my own and go up there. And that's up there in Paducah is a Hancock's. It's Hancock's of Paducah. We used to have a Hancock's, and that was the first one that left. And then we had Joann's. I think it was the one that was our Joann's. I think it was bought out by something called Fabric World or something like that, and then it closed. But here we are down to our last row here being added on. Now I will take this separately, press it out, and add it to the quilt top though. But I hope to have this all assembled for you when we come together on Saturday. Because I'm probably not going to press it tonight and add it to the rest of the quilt tonight. So it will still require me to do that. Oh, friends, here we go. We are done. So this one here, I will add to this bottom row here. You'll see, let me see if I can get my chair where you can kind of see it. That'll complete our diamond there. But friends, thank you for joining me just for me to sew and chit chat with you. Like I said, all I'm doing is just a little catching up. I'm trying to be where I have 2 days a week that I can do catch up, and I just decided to bring you along with me today. But I will be doing catch up work 2 days a week, but Monday, Wednesday, definitely Saturday and Sunday. We have our set. Monday will be updates. Wednesday will be our Whip It Wednesday. We'll always be working on a work in progress on that day. Fridays, I don't know what Friday's going to be. It's just whatever. just whatever it is. Saturday will be our Saturday sew along at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you would like to join us working on this quilt, we are on our last leg of it, technically. This upcoming Saturday will be the last sew along on this. I do not have another one scheduled yet for Saturdays. We may just take it by ear and just finish things up come November, because we have December coming up. And in November, what I may do is maybe a Santa Saturday. I don't know. Don't know. But maybe that's what I'll do. I'll do something Christmas on Saturdays. That's an idea. I just thought of that. I hadn't thought of that in the past. So that's just something that just came to my mind. And I'll have to think about that. Think what I can do. I do know I want to do some pillows, some hand towels, and embroidery. I want to do some of those things. So I may bring you guys along for that, just to see what I'm doing. Pillows and towels. The hand towels, those are going to be gifts for some of my family members. So, my kids, let me just say that, my kids, they'll be getting those for Christmas, and they'll be Christmas themed. So, it's not really, I know a lot of people that are like, well, I want a gift that I can use all year long, but my children are still building their decor for the holidays, and it's always nice to have something handmade for the holidays. So friends, thank you for joining me once again. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Before you head out, please give me a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do. Feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye, guys.